Okay, it looks like we're live.
Okay, thank you, Director Green. All right, good morning.
I'm sorry, just one moment, please.
Oh, take your time, man. Take your time.
Thank you.
All right. So at this time, we are going to go on the record in EFSB 2402 DPU 24190, the Palmer to Ware project. Good morning. Today is a remote evidentiary hearing being conducted by the Energy Facilities Siting Board. I will refer to as the board in docket EFSB 2402 DPU 24190. The petitioner is New England Power Company doing business as National Grid, or the company. My name is Connor Tarr. I am the presiding officer in this proceeding. We are conducting this evidentiary hearing remotely using Zoom video conferencing. This hearing is being recorded and will be available for viewing on YouTube. Parties should be aware that the official transcript of the proceeding is being transcribed by the stenographer appointed by the board for that purpose. The stenographer is also participating remotely. He will transcribe everything said during this hearing. As we are relying on the internet or telephones to participate, we could experience some technical difficulties, as we've become aware at the very beginning, such as sound from speakers, including potential background noise, video and audio issues, and potential delays. Therefore, it is imperative to speak slowly and clearly to allow a speaker to finish speaking before you begin speaking, and to pay attention to the video of the person speaking as well as my video. I will raise my hand as a signal on my video if I need to interrupt the person currently speaking to ask them to stop. It is also helpful if you mute your audio when you are not speaking to reduce any background noise. We appreciate everyone's cooperation in participating in this hearing. As you can see on your Zoom video stream, there are currently several other people from the board who are participating in our virtual bench today. I'll ask that they raise their hand in their Zoom window when I identify them as follows. Andy Green, Director of the Siting Division. Joan Foster Evans, General Counsel of the Siting Division. Wayne Wong, Assistant Director of the Siting Division. Brian Wilmer, Analyst of the Siting Division. And Claire Lowe, Senior Analyst of the Siting Division. The company's petition is seeking approval to construct, operate, and maintain a new overhead transmission line in Palmer, West Brookfield, and Ware, Massachusetts, that would replace approximately 10.35 miles of an existing transmission line in the same right-of-way, referred to as the replacement line. Pursuant to Massachusetts General Laws, Chapter 164, Section 69J, the company plans to remove the existing transmission line and existing 147 structures. The company would then replace the existing structures with 112 steel structures and construct, reestablish, and improve utility access routes. The replacement line would continue operating at 69 kilovolts, although capable of operating at 115 kilovolts in the future, if needed. This work is referred to herein as the Palmer to Ware Transmission Project, or the project. These matters have been consolidated into EFSB 2402 DPU 24190. Next, I will ask the council identify themselves for the record and state the name of the party for which they are appearing at this time. Attorney Cuthan.
Catherine Cuthan from the law firm of Keegan Werlin on behalf of New England Power Company doing business as National Grid.
I'll just ask that Ms. Blaine identify herself. I know that she probably won't be speaking today, but.
Cheryl Blaine from Keegan Werlin on behalf of National Grid.
And
this is
Mr. Riley.
Mark Riley, in-house counsel at National Grid.
Thank you. Are there any procedural matters that we need to discuss before we begin? We can discuss these matters off the record if you wish, I'll note that the company has provided a draft exhibit list dated November 14th, 2025. Are there any matters that need to be discussed now or offline? Attorney Cuthan, you're muted.
The company has none, thank you.
All right. I note that National Grid's witnesses will be questioned as a panel. So that would mean questions would be available to anyone to provide an answer. Next, I will ask that each witness introduce his or herself for the record and state their affiliation. So,
The company has prepared some brief direct examination of the witnesses for whom we did not pre-file direct testimony. Could we do that? Or would you like to swear the witnesses first?
I think I'd like to swear the witnesses first. So if you could just introduce who's here, and then we can go through. We'll go through any pre-prepared information that you have to provide.
Sure. Mike Hager, could you please introduce yourself?
Yes, good morning. My name is Michael Hager. I am a principal project manager for the Ampere Group under contract with National Grid, for which I'm the project manager for the Palmer to Ware Reliability Improvement Project.
Mr. O'Brien, you're muted.
Good morning, Kevin O'Brien here with National Grid. I'm the lead environmental scientist for the project.
Mr. Adhikari?
Hi, my name is Anil Adhikari, transmission planning engineer for this project.
I'm sorry, I'm having difficulty hearing you. I heard your name and then your what?
Hi, my name is Anil Adhikari, Adhikari. I'm a lead transmission planning engineer for this project.
Mr. Daw?
Good morning, Kenneth Daw. I'm a principal transmission line engineer with Fairwater Engineering in Scarborough, Maine. And I am providing transmission engineering services for the Palmer to Ware project.
Ms. Kimball?
Hi, Vivian Kimball. I work for VHB. I'm the senior siting consultant for this project for National Grid.
Ms. Jimziak?
Hi, good morning. Leah Jimziak. I work with Burns & McDonnell as a senior public involvement specialist, representing National Grid with the project engagement team.
And Mr. Long?
Hi, my name is Chris Long. I'm a principal at Gradient, which is based in Boston. I'm appearing here on behalf of National Grid to speak to electric and magnetic fields, EMF.
Thank you. Mr. Tar, that's the company's panel of witnesses.
Thank you, Attorney Cuthan. I'll now swear the witnesses in, and then any pre-prepared information we can proceed forward with. So I'll now swear in the witnesses. Please raise your right hand so that I can see it in the Zoom panel, and take yourself off of mute. Do you swear or affirm the testimony you give today will be the whole truth?
I do.
Yes,
I
I
do.
do.
Please let the record indicate that the witnesses have been sworn. Attorney Cuthan, would you like to conduct direct examination or the pre-prepared information you had indicated?
Ms. Blaine will.
Yes, last week the company filed written direct testimony from Mr. Hager, Mr. O'Brien, and Dr. Long, wherein they adopted all materials in this proceeding that bear their name as their testimony. So I would just like to do a brief direct exam of the remaining 4 witnesses. So, Mr. Adhikari, could you please state your name, business affiliation, and business address for the record?
So my name is Anil, first name A-N-I-L, last name Adhikari, A-D-H-I-K-A-R-I. I work with the National Grid, and my involvement for this project is I'm a transmission planning engineer.
On what topics relating to the company's petition are you prepared to testify?
I'll be testifying mainly on a need for this project to build up to 115 kV standard.
I'm sorry, your sound is a little bit low. I'll be testifying on need for this project. What?
So I will mainly be testifying for the need to build the line to 115 kV standard.
Were the responses to information requests that bear your name on these subjects prepared by you or under your supervision?
I did prepare myself.
Do you have any changes to those materials to offer for the record?
No, I do not.
Do you adopt all materials provided in this proceeding that bear your name as your testimony in this proceeding?
Yes.
Thank you. Mr. Dawes, could you please state your name, business affiliation, business address for the record?
Yes, good morning. My name is Kenneth Dawe, D-A-W-E. I am employed by Fairwater Engineering in Scarborough, Maine. My position there is as a principal transmission line engineer.
What has been your role on behalf of the Palmer to Ware asset reliability project?
I am the transmission line engineer on the Palmer to Ware asset refurbishment project. My primary responsibility was for the conceptual stage design and the evaluation of project alternatives and design alternatives. After the company selected the complete rebuild alternative, which we'll get into, I'm sure, primary engineering responsibility transitioned to another engineer, although I do remain involved in the project to date.
Were the responses to information requests that bear your name on these subjects prepared by you or under your supervision?
Yes, they were.
Do you have any changes to those materials to offer for the record?
Yes. The only change to the materials is the addition of my name as a witness to the company's responses to information requests EFSB TAC CM TAC 4 and EFSB TAC N TAC 4.
Do you adopt all materials provided in this proceeding that bear your name as your testimony here?
Yes, I do.
Thank you. Ms. Jimziak, could you please state your name, business affiliation, and business address for the record?
Good morning, Leah Jimziak, Gymziak. My business address is 7 Wells Avenue in Newton, Massachusetts. My role on the project is to discuss outreach tactics to our neighbors, information provided to our communities, as well as discuss engagement tools associated with our communications.
And on what topics relating to the company's petition are you prepared to testify?
Any pertaining to outreach information, concerns from neighbors, information on website, etc.
Were the responses to information requests that bear your name on these subjects prepared by you or under your supervision?
They were.
Do you have any changes to those materials to offer for the record?
I do not.
Do you adopt all materials provided in this proceeding that bear your name as your testimony in this proceeding?
I do.
Thank you. And Ms. Kimball, could you please state your name, business affiliation, and business address for the record?
Sure. My name is Vivian Kimball. I'm employed at VHB. Our business address is 260 Arsenal Place, number 2, Watertown, Massachusetts.
What is your position with VHB?
At VHB, I'm a senior wetland scientist, project manager, and director of natural sciences for Massachusetts.
And what has been your role on behalf of the project?
As National Grid's siting and environmental consultant on the project, I'm the senior siting specialist.
I'm sorry, the senior siting what?
Specialist.
Thank you.
On what topics relating to the company's petition are you prepared to testify?
In conjunction with other witnesses, I'm primarily responsible for the environmental analysis of transmission alternatives, the routing analysis, and the detailed environmental evaluation of the project.
Were the responses to great, thank you. No further questions. So with that, all of the company's witnesses are available for cross-examination.
Thank you, Attorney Blaine. I'll turn the floor over to Ms. Lowe for the siting board cross-exam, or excuse me, is there any additional direct examination that the company would like to provide regarding any of the other witnesses?
No, not at this time. No.
Okay. So now I will turn the floor over to Ms. Lowe for the siting board cross-examination. After board staff have had a chance to ask questions, if there are any additional questions, we can do some redirect examination towards the end. I'll now turn the floor over to Ms. Wall.
Thank you, Presiding Officer. I will begin with some general questions. Does the company have any updates on project discussions with the towns of Palmer, West Brookfield, or Ware?
I will defer that question to Ms. Jimziak.
We have, at this point in time, held select board presentations in early 2024 and intend to have future correspondence with them as things proceed.
Thank you. And then next, please refer to the table provided in response to EFSB-G-2, listing anticipated permit approvals. Please confirm that this table represents the latest permitting status information.
That was prepared by Mr. O'Brien, but yes, that is our latest permit status.
Yep, I can
Thank you
verify
for
that.
confirming. Thank you. Moving on to some questions regarding construction, please refer to EFSB-CM-8 regarding the preliminary construction communication plan that has been developed by the company. Have the towns had the opportunity to review the construction communication plan and provide feedback on it?
Mike, I may be looking for some of your assistance here. We do have an established plan. It is what we consider a live document that is updated as needed as we determine best methods of communication. Mike or others, maybe perhaps you can chime in on any communication with the town in terms of that.
Yes, I'm not aware of any specific communications and requests from the towns, but as Ms. Jimziak has indicated, we consider that plan to be a live document. So as things develop, more information is available, specific requests and situations come in from each town, we will address those and incorporate those into the plan.
And will the towns have the ability to read, review, and provide feedback on the plan prior to the start of construction?
Yes.
Okay, thank you. Next, please refer to EFSB-NO-2, which gives the total expected durations of various construction activities. What is the approximate duration of each listed construction activity at any given abutting residence? So the total time was given. I'm looking at the impacts to any one abutter during those activities.
I can handle that. So I would, just looking at NO-2, vegetation removal and mowing, that progresses in a linear fashion. So, I would, behind any individual residence, maybe a day or two right behind that residence, and they can continue down the right of way from there. So a few days on either side of that while they're working their way past their neighbors. Erosion, sediment controls, a day or so at each individual residence that abuts the right of way. Access improvements and maintenance, that could be perhaps a week's worth of work, and plus a little bit of time as we're on either side of the residence there. Foundations usually take about a couple days to a week for each foundation. So if you have a foundation behind you, we might be there for a week, up to a week, maybe 2 weeks, depending on the nature of that foundation. Structures, when we install those, are a couple of days to install a structure. Conductor and shield wire installation, it all depends on where the setup is, but it could be several days each time we do a wire pull along the way. And again, removal of the existing structure is probably a day and a couple of days for cleanup. So While work takes place over a long period of time and we're working on either side of an individual abutter from time to time, the actual duration at that location when it does occur is generally a few days to a week or so, depending on the operation.
Thank you. And for the most part, would the construction work be staggered such that between any of these activities, there would be a period of time with no construction in between, or would any of these activities be back to back at a given residence?
They generally occur in sequence, and there's usually gaps between each phase along the way.
Thank you. And then over the course of the project construction, which is staged in different periods, what is the anticipated construction impact at a given residence? So when would they first have construction activities to the end of the final restoration? Approximately what time frame is that?
One second.
Believe we're tracking June. Is that correct for?
Yes. So if I can refer you to information request G-01, we provided a Gantt chart of the construction activities. So we would start in July of 2027 at a location with our vegetation removal and begin the process there and work throughout the right of way at various stages. And the completion of the work, the new line will be up and energized in December of 2028, and then give us 3 to 6 months to complete the removal and restoration of the prior line. So that's the broad time frame where work will be taking place. And again, it's not continuous over that 18 to 24 month period of time at any particular location.
Thank you. And would abutters be notified each time construction activities would resume near their residence?
Yes. So in general, our plan is to provide advance notice throughout construction and of where all the work is taking place. Not only what's happening behind your place, but across the entire work area over there, so folks will have access to what our construction plans are and when work will be happening, adjacent to their properties.
Thank you. My next question is regarding the line stringing impacts to I-90, which is reference EFSB-T-3 and EFSB-T-4. What is the expected total duration of traffic impacts to I-90?
So that's usually a 1 day or 1 or 2 days when we actually do the pulling across the highway there. And it's not a complete shutdown of the highway. Usually there's a setup time. Typically on a highway crossing like that, there's a short rolling roadblock that we work out with Mass Highway Department to slow traffic as we pull the wire across the roadway. So.
Thank you.
Can I add to that, if I may, with the rolling roadblock? Thank you. Typically, the duration of that rolling roadblock is limited to the duration for the wire to actually, the head of the wire to actually cross the roadway. So that's usually limited to the duration of a few minutes to maybe an hour, well under an hour, actually, just a few minutes for that.
Great. Thank you for that additional clarification.
Thanks.
Next, I have some questions related to Exhibit NG-5-KO. What additional...
I'm sorry, NG-5- what?
KO.
Thank you.
What additional analysis was conducted since the company filed its petition to determine that between 10 to 14 trees near existing structures 103, 115, and 116 would need to be removed during construction?
That was an additional field review conducted by our forestry group during the construction planning stages.
I'm sorry, Mr. O'Brien, that was an additional what?
Field review.
Thank you.
Conducted by our forestry staff.
Thank you. And are these trees located within the right-of-way?
I believe most of them are, if I'm not mistaken. I don't know if they've been actually located within the proper surveyed bounds to date, but I don't know, if Mr. Hager, if you have any details on that.
I would say they are located on the edge of the right of way. We have not gone out and actually surveyed them to the nearest inch to determine which side of the right of way edge they are, whether they're on our side, on the line, or on the abutter side. But when we get to the point that we will need to schedule that work and do that, we will coordinate with the abutters to make sure we're all in agreement as to work that's taking place. And if they are off right away, make sure we coordinate with the property owners and get permissions and so forth to perform the work.
If the trees are located outside of the right-of-way, is permission from the property owner the only permission National Grid would need to obtain to remove the trees?
Yes, as long as Mr. O'Brien doesn't have any other environmental permitting requirements, it would just be, to reach agreement with the property owner.
Thank you. And could you please characterize the types of trees being removed, either the diameter at breast height or the relative maturity, or whatever metric is most appropriate for characterizing the trees in that fashion?
Well, I would say, given the fact they are posing a risk and need to be removed, they are mature trees. I cannot speak to today in terms of the species, the specific size or diameter, as you mentioned, as you suggested.
Do you have information on like tree heights, or is that information something that would be gathered prior to tree removal?
Yes, all the information would be gathered as part of the review and permitting process for those removals.
And my apologies, my audio just faded out and then came back in. Could you please repeat that?
Sure. Tree data, the species, size, height would be gathered prior to removal.
Okay, thank you. And could you please explain why changing the orientation of the new transmission structures by 180 degrees would result in the removal of roughly 45 trees?
I can take that. So by rotating the structure 180 degrees, the lower arm of the structure that has a conductor on it would become closer to the edge of the right of way where the maximum width of the trees are. So that is what is driving the distance between the lowest conductor and the trees at that point in time. The way the structures were originally positioned, the middle arm would be facing out, and it would be a little bit taller, from where the growth of the widest part of the trees are at this stage.
Thank you. And could you talk to the overall benefit of rotating the transmission structures in this way?
Yes. So it comes from a construction perspective. By rotating the structures, we will be able to have the two arms facing away from the existing line. That will be energized while we're constructing this line. And it would only have the middle phase or the middle arm extending over the energized existing line. So that will give us some additional clearances from a safety perspective for constructing the line. It will also allow us to install 2 of the 3 new conductors with the existing line still energized and in service, thus shortening the outage period we would need for the existing line during construction.
Thank you for that explanation. Final question here. Does the company propose to conduct any mitigation for the tree removal?
I can take that. Typically, we do review these requests or discussions on a case-by-case basis. So I think once we have finalized tree data, I think we can do an analysis in terms of, should mitigation be beneficial, and then work independently with each neighbor on those, moving forward with that type of request.
Thank you. I will now pass it along to my colleague, Mr. Wilmer.
Thank you, Ms. Lowe. I wanted to begin with a follow-up question regarding the tree removal around structures 91 to 97. So my question is, of the aforementioned 40 to 45 trees, roughly what would the spacing be for the tree removal? That is to say, how many trees roughly between each structure? How does that distribution look?
I don't believe we have that exact information. It was just a broad look out there, but I would say that they were spread throughout that general area.
Thank you.
And I would also point out that that location does provide a fairly dense buffer between the right-of-way and the budding properties along that way. So we're not anticipating any significant, if any at all, visual issues with any of our abutters in that area.
Thank you. In reference to EFSB LU-4, did the company have any further communications from NHESP on whether the project would result in a take of state listed species?
Yes, to date, we've had one more informal consultation with Natural Heritage on November 5th as part of a company held bi-weekly call with that agency, and we've come to determine there will be a take of one plant species.
Thank you. Do you happen to recall the name of that species?
I do. Forgive my Latin. It is Desmodium cuspidatum, which is the large bract tick trefoil.
Thank you. The next question is in reference to EFSB-CM-1 and EFSB-CM-2. Has the company found any shorter or direct access routes to sections of the right-of-way that would require entering agreements with landowners?
The access ways that are included with our filings remain the ones that we've identified to date. But we can, throughout the planning of this project, continue to look, for alternate means, including future laydown areas, and to the extent we can shorten access ways, we would incorporate that into our plan.
Thank you. And has the company determined storage, staging, and laydown areas?
We have not finalized any laydown areas at this point in time.
Thank you. Has the company determined whether any helicopter or drone work will take place?
At this point in the project, we are not anticipating any helicopter or drone work.
Thank you. I would be moving on to need unless any of my colleagues have any follow-up questions. I'm seeing none. Please refer to Exhibit NG-1 at 19. where the company states that the proximity of a woodpecker hole could present a danger to the integrity of the crossarm, which could result in an outage. Has the company witnessed compromise to the integrity of a pole or crossarm due to woodpecker damage before? Please elaborate on the company's experience.
So when a woodpecker excavates a cavity in a wood pole, it reduces the strength of the pole by the loss of cross section in that wood. The specific point that was referring to about the critical locations is, say, if that hole is very near where a fastener passes through the wood pole, it could create a situation where that fastener loosens up or could pull through the pole and allow for the structure to lose its integrity without necessarily the entire pole failing or snapping.
Thank you. Has there been a situation to date that the company is aware of where a woodpecker has been found responsible for severe damage to the point of causing a down pole or an outage?
I am not aware today. I can take a look and see if we have any existing records of that. Generally, our approach would be to try to replace a pole or wood component that was significantly damaged prior to getting to the point of actually failing in the field.
Thank you. In reference to EFSB N-1 and EFSB.
Brian, can we pause? Our presiding officer seems to have disconnected. We'll give him. Okay. Sorry, go ahead.
Thank you, Mr. Wong. And in reference to EFSB-N-1 and EFSB-N-2, does the company have a time frame estimation for when the increased load generation in the area would require operation at 115 kV?
There is no set demand level that triggers the need for 115 kV operation to become necessary. The 115 kV operation will be needed when the 69 kV network in the area cannot accommodate the increased load generation in the area. From a thermal or the voltage perspective.
I'm sorry, from a thermal what?
Thermal or voltage.
Thank you.
This could involve overloads of the 115 kV to 69 kV order transformer in the area. So we do not have a set time frame.
Thank you. Unless there are any follow-up questions from the rest of the panel, I would be moving on to cost.
I would like to follow up the question earlier about the take of the plant species whose name I will struggle to remember in Latin. But I'm just curious what permit natural heritage and endangered species is pursuing with the company. Is it a conditional take permit, or what's the specific type of approval that natural heritage is contemplating?
That has not yet formally been decided, but we believe in discussions with them, it would be a conservation management permit.
Okay. And have they presented any required conditions or mitigation yet in their discussions with the company?
No.
When are you anticipating them that they would at least be on the table for review?
We have an additional meeting with Natural Heritage on December 11th, and then going forward from there, we expect further discussions in Q1 of 2026.
Okay, thank you.
You
I just
moving
had a
on.
brief follow-up, Brian.
Go ahead.
Mr. Wilmer, I just had a brief follow-up regarding the tree removal, and maybe I missed it due to my disconnect. what type of mitigation would the company be considering if it determined that mitigation was appropriate, as far as replacement of any trees and or donations, some kind of foundation?
So we don't have a specific plan at this point. As I mentioned earlier, it's a heavily vegetated area, so we don't anticipate any visual impacts to any of our abutters that would require any form of mitigation. But that would be part of a discussion should an area or two require some type of mitigation. We would work with our abutters to come up with a reasonable and appropriate means of mitigation.
Just so that I'm understanding correctly, would mitigation only be triggered or be considered by the company if it resulted in a direct visual impact to one of the abutters, rather than just simply because of the removal of trees?
Yes.
I don't know if that generated any additional questions from the panel. I just was curious. I'll turn it back over to Mr. Wilmer.
Thank you, Mr. Tar. Please refer to EFSB-C-3. The company shows 1.57 million increase for structure work. What is the nature of the 115 kV structure work that differs in cost from 69 kV that's not already included in the table?
Could you expand on what you mean by that's not included in the table, or are you looking more for a breakdown of what constitutes that 1.57 million?
Sure. I would invite you to take a look at the exhibit. I can pull it up if necessary.
Mm-hmm. Yes, I see the structure work we have estimated for the 115 option at 7.75 million versus the 69 kV option at 6.18 million, resulting in a difference of 1.57.
Correct. Thank you. And I was looking for a further breakdown of that number, as it seems a lot of other items are already accounted for, and I didn't understand what structure work entailed.
Sure. That's primarily the cost of the labor of and equipment to erect the structure, set them on the foundations, hang the insulators, connect the wires to it, the actual installation costs of those structures.
If I could add to that, at 115 kV, the distance between the conductors is greater than it is at 69 kV. So we generally end up with slightly taller, slightly longer structures. So there is part of that cost increase is the structure is a little bit bigger, thus it costs a little bit more money, in addition to maybe a slightly larger foundation and the other related work that Mr. Daw explained.
Thank you. I will now hand it over to my colleague, Ms. Lowe.
Thank you. Please refer to NG-1 at 35 regarding the work necessary to switch operation of the line from 69 kV to 115 kV. What is the approximate cost of the planning costs and crew time to implement the voltage switch?
Could you repeat the question, please?
Yes. At 35 in Exhibit NG-1 discusses the work necessary to switch operation of the line from 69 kV to 115 kV. What is the approximate cost of the planning costs and crew time to implement the voltage switch?
The company has not investigated the scope of work that's needed to convert that area from 69 kV to 115 kV, and so therefore we don't have a specific cost estimate at this time. Should that upgrade take place in the future?
Okay, and I believe that is all of the questions that we have. So I'll pass it back to our presiding officer.
I just have a few brief follow-up questions, just regarding some basic information. Regarding policies, has the company considered any additional alternatives that would be in line with the Commonwealth of Massachusetts policies regarding green energy as far as switching over, or any additional alternatives?
I would say our filing identifies all of the alternatives that we've evaluated to date for this project.
I would like to add that as far as the discussions of the ratings and capabilities that the rebuilt line would provide, the capacity to transmit electricity would address green energy among other needs that would be evaluated through the general evaluation of the transmission system and the capacities that it would need to provide.
Thank you very much. At this time, we're going to take a brief break. We'll meet back or at this time, we will go off the record. We will resume the hearing at 11 o'clock. We'll have a brief discussion amongst ourselves, and at that time, we'll reconvene. It doesn't look like we're going to be making it till lunchtime, so I will see everyone back at 11 o'clock. At this time, we'll go off the record in 2402. Thank you. Good to go, Mr. Brock.
I am.
All right. Let's wait for everybody to come back and finish up. Not a long one today.
That's okay with me. We have a beautiful day out.
We do. Nice and chilly.
Well, no wind. It's pleasant.
No wind by you. It was windy this morning.
Not here.
At the bus stop, at least. All right. It looks like we are back. If anybody needs any additional time, please say something. Otherwise, at this time, we will go back on the record. EFSB 2402, DPU 24190, Palmer to Ware transmission project. The time is now 11:01. We'll return to finish any additional questions. After discussion, I believe that EFSB staff have some additional questions, so I'll turn it over to Ms. Lowe first for follow-up questions.
Thank you, Presiding Officer. I have a quick follow-up regarding in the event that tree removal results in visual impacts that need to be mitigated. Could you please describe the company's general process and procedure for addressing visual impacts?
I can start here, and Mr. Hager and others, please add to my testimony. So typically what would take place is, while understanding and determining the tree data of potential impacts, what property owners we would want to work with, we would ultimately do what we'd call a review or, an analysis of that. If it's found that there are situations where mitigation will be beneficial, we would typically work directly with those neighbors and I've seen cases where we've established a tree mitigation plan or an off right-of-way planting plan. We do have a number of contractors established that would assist in a design as well as installation of those plans. That's, I think, the more typical potential mitigation. Mr. Hager or others, if there's additional that we would want to consider, I would ask you to add to that.
Sure, I'll work in here. So it really comes down to working with the individual abutters that are affected there and coming up with a reasonable plan to address their any adverse visual impact. So it could be planting of a new tree. It could be maybe just some shrubbery in that area. It could be a fence in lieu or something that's there. So we would work with the impacted abutter to come up with a reasonable plan, that addresses, the view from their property and the type of mitigation that is acceptable to them.
Thank you for that explanation. I will pass it to Mr. Wilmer.
I'm sorry, before we do that, could I just follow up with a quick clarifying question? In some projects, what was, just provided as sort of the parameters for the tree mitigation program, visual mitigation, sound quite reasonable, and good judgment is obviously implied. And some projects in certain areas seem to elicit greater expectations on the part of homeowners, and in some cases we've seen utility companies and homeowners not come to a sort of mutually acceptable agreement, and a dispute can, persist for some time. Again, what's the process that National Grid uses where there is some gap between what the homeowner expects and what the company is willing to provide, as you just described?
So again, I think I'll start this off with, this work is and these trees that we've identified removal are in, a fairly dense area. So select tree removals here and there are not likely to create extreme visual impacts to our abutters there. But certainly if we get into the point of disagreement as to what is a reasonable fix, we'll just need to work through that and use whatever resources are and means are available to mitigate that dispute there.
Is there a
I
cost
don't have
parameter that the company has, sort of as a provision that it has in mind when it has these negotiations or discussions? Is there anything explicit to know?
I'm not aware of any hard and fast guidelines or criteria that we implement to determine what's reasonable, and the specific means we would use to the extent that we disagree as to what is reasonable and unreasonable. Should we get to that point, I'd have to look back on what we've done in other projects to find ways to break the stalemate between the 2 points of view to be able to meet the intent of the mitigation and be able to close out this project.
Okay, I think we're good for now.
Mr. Wilmer?
Thank you, Presiding Officer Tar. Two final follow-up questions from me. Would the project cost be regionalized, or is cost recovery by local ratepayers?
So this project is classified as a PTF project, which means it's included in regional rates.
Thank you. And did the company consider grid enhancing technologies beyond the optical ground wire?
In this, yes, for this project, given that the main drivers for this project were not based on an immediate need for an increased load carrying capacity or to divert that load or mitigate that load through some other reason, we did not consider what are frequently called grid enhancing technologies. Similar to how in exhibit NG1 I apologize for the pause, let me find the particular page number. At 28, where we discussed non-wires alternatives, for similar reasons there, where we didn't find that non-wires alternatives were relevant to addressing the needs that were driving this project, grid enhancing technologies would fall under a similar reasoning for why we didn't find them applicable to this project.
Thank you. I have no further questions.
Are there any additional questions from the EFSB panel at this time for any members of the company? Seeing and hearing no response, Attorney Cuthan, is there any additional redirect that you would like to provide regarding any of the responses and questions that were asked today?
The company has no redirect.
Okay. All right. Then, on the very, very early side, at this time, I will now entertain a motion to move all the exhibits into evidence. This would include all exhibits on the draft exhibit list dated November 14th. And as there aren't, but would not include any record requests as none have been asked for as part of this hearing. Do I have a motion to move the exhibits into evidence?
Yes, the company would so move that all items that have been marked for identification on the exhibit list be moved into the record as evidence.
And are there any objections? Seeing and hearing no objections, I move the exhibits into evidence. I had originally drafted a schedule anticipating that there would be some record requests provided. However, at this time, I will move up some of the dates. So I would be asking the company to file initial briefs by December 12th, 2025. Please advise if any additional time would be needed. This is an extended period of time based on the holiday, as it is normally it would be a 2-week time period. However, given Thanksgiving, I'm trying to give some an additional leeway so that that would be built in. So does the company have any objection to the initial briefs being due on December 12th, 2025? That is a Friday.
The company doesn't object to that schedule. That sounds
Okay.
reasonable.
I will formalize that and provide that as an email to the service list so that that is documented moving forward. Are there any other matters that need to be addressed at this time?
I have none on behalf of the company.
Any other matters from siting board staff? All right. Thank you, everyone. At this time, we will go off the record in 2402, 24190. I appreciate everyone's time and consideration, and I look forward to reading the briefs. Thank you so much. Have a great day.
Thank you.
See you tomorrow.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye, everyone.